Well, good Taco Tuesday afternoon, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. Trying something a little bit different right here. It is pouring down rain. I'm in the outdoor studio. Have not used it much in recent history, and I'm trying my Mevo with a shotgun mic to see how much ambient noise is actually going on through here, and if it works well, we probably will start using this more and more again. So I want to actually touch on something here with my quarterback. What a difference a year makes. And we've got a small sample size to start with, okay? We only have 2 games. But what you're seeing with Dak Prescott, you know, everybody's looking and saying Dak Prescott's on point. Dak Prescott is looking totally different than before. But here's where I'm going to say there's a difference of what you're seeing with Dak Prescott right now. When we look at last year was crazy because you had CeeDee Lamb, who was not in training camp, okay? He signed like a week and a half, 2 weeks before the season started. You had Brandon Cooks literally not there because he had a knee injury, and you can see he's not doing a whole lot right now with New Orleans. So you're looking at saying, okay. And then you had Jalen Tolbert, who's now thrust into being the number 2 wide receiver. Jalen Tolbert he's a good receiver. He's not a great one. As a 3rd, 4th receiver option, he's good, but not a guy that's going to go ahead and make you feel like, wow, this guy's great. Now, he's actually gotten a lot of venom from a lot of Cowboy fans that are like, screw that guy, I'm ready to move on. Be that as it may, you replace Jalen Tolbert with Pickens. George Pickens, there's a night and day difference right there. So to have 2 guys that you have to worry about now for Dak Prescott, there's going to be some separation. There's just going to be more separation. If you look at last year, we were the worst team when Dak Prescott was playing in separation. Not even close. The worst. And if you end up having guys that can't get anybody off of them, and they're right there when they're making the catches, your chances of actually making the reception are reduced. Even if you get a clean shot, get the ball in your hands, if that guy is right there at the same time the ball is, chances are they can knock the ball out. You got guys wide open, then of course it looks a whole lot better. So that's the first thing that's actually helped Dak Prescott. And the Cowboys, for once, have actually done some things to really and truly help Dak Prescott. The second one is by having Brian Schottenheimer, we've got consistency because Brian Schottenheimer, be it he was not the head coach, was the offensive coordinator. He knows Dak Prescott from being there for the last 3 years. He is a guy who has been leading dynamic offenses. When you think about Russell Wilson and he was cooking and getting like over 4,000 yard seasons and having 38, 42 touchdown passes and having a running game that was getting close to 2,000, you had a complete balanced offense. And that's also another major difference with Brian Schottenheimer is he wants to be a balanced offense. Coming from his dad, who of course was on the other end of the spectrum where he had Christian Okoye and Barry Word, some of the 2 biggest, meanest running backs, probably the biggest, meanest running back combination out there, where he just loved to run the football. You want to balance it a little bit more with that passing game. And having Dak Prescott and looking at what Russell Wilson has done, when Russell Wilson was cooking, it was with Brian Schottenheimer. And so you might be looking at seasons that are similar to what Russell had when he was cooking. Now, make no mistake about it. The other thing that the Dallas Cowboys have given Dak Prescott that is huge is actually a running game. Now, again, we've got a small sample size, but Javonte Williams getting 4.6 yards a carry. Javonte Williams had said that he finally feels like himself from when he tore his knee up 2 years, I believe it was 2 years ago, that he really feels good. And you're actually seeing him looking like a good lead back. We're talking about a guy who right now, I believe, the 7th in yardage. I believe he's already picked up more yards in these first 2 games than Zeke had all last year. Yeah, oh shit. So now you're looking at it and saying, okay, I see you. You've got a running game that teams have to actually respect. And when you saw the greatest thing, I showed this play this morning, where Cooper Beebe literally affected 3 rushers. It was a play action. They ended up, Dak Prescott faking it to Javonte Williams on the outside. You had the flow of the offensive line like it's a running play. You see Cooper Beebe basically giving the forearm shiver to help out Tyler Booker. He does a 180 to seal the backside, and you see him take on the rusher that's there and push him into the blitzer. But because that play action works, you had the linebackers get sucked in. They took a step forward and they froze. They're not able to get in coverage. That helps to give you a little more time, where now you've got CD out there, you've got George Pickens. Chances are one of those guys is going to be one-on-one, and CeeDee Lamb is actually feasting. And see, all these pieces coming together make it better. Now, it's kind of crazy to me, and I'm going to go back through. I'm drinking, forgive me, this is the liquid death here. Got to take 8 ounces of this every 15 minutes, so hold on for a second. The worst part's yet to come. The other part that's kind of interesting is when I looked at Pro Football Focus, looking at Tyler Guyton's grades, they're atrocious by their standards. But I'm looking at it and saying, he hasn't given up a sack. He has given up 9 pressures. And to have him as one of the worst tackles in football, I kind of question the numbers. They kind of say that the Dallas Cowboys, I read it someplace this morning, I'm not sure which publication it was, but they said the Dallas Cowboys had the worst pass protection grades of any of the teams in the NFL. And one, I will give plausible deniability on that, because you faced an Eagles team that was considered one of the best defenses, a defense that won the Super Bowl, playing lights out. And then you also played the New York Giants, which arguably has supposedly the best front 7. So you were facing 2 very quality opponents as far as defense goes, as opposed to facing ones that may not be as good. So if their grade is just this, I'm not sure that it's apples to apples as opposed to apples to soft grapes, so to speak. So I believe that the offensive line is better than it was last year. Now, we'll see what happens with that Cooper Beebe, but I look and I say, Tyler Guyton last year, anybody rushed on the inside, they were getting past him or he was getting a penalty. And so I look and say that's a major improvement there. Tyler Booker, I'm not ready to say he is Zach Martin yet, but the way Zach Martin was playing last year, you have to say Tyler Booker, because Zach Martin didn't look right the whole season. That Tyler Booker is reasonable. Terrence Steele has had some really good run blocking plays. He still had a few bad ones here, but I think he's better off than he was when Dak was here last season. So overall, the Cowboys have given Dak a whole lot more to work with, and people have said, well, Dak Prescott's got no excuses now. Well, I don't know if that's going to be true or not. I look at this offense and say Ferguson is a very capable tight end. I say you've got a great wide receiver room, you've got a credible running game, and you've got a pretty good offensive line. I'm not ready to say that they're the best or the greatest or anything like that, but so far they look good. The big worry for this team is, and the plausible deniability is going to be, is what is this defense going to be without Micah Parsons and with all of the new pieces that we're putting in here? That's going to be the Achilles heel here, is the defense is going to have to step up. If we're giving up 37 points to the New York Giants, I hate to see what that happens when they face somebody like the Rams or the Lions. Our defense is going to have to stand up and be much better than that. All right, so there you have it. I just took some of that liquid death. I gotta go. I gotta go. And hopefully the sound quality on here is not too bad and that it actually works. I'm Mark Holmes, and don't forget to get your colonoscopy. Peace.